Hey, welcome back to southern Minnesota. I'm Greg, a good cemeterian, and today we're going to be working on resetting a little tab in slot marble monument. So you can see some of my work behind me. Let's swing around and check out today's project. So today we're working on Eliza Rice, and this small marble monument we're going to inset into that slotted base, just like we've done on here'd be a similar tab in slot reset, a little bigger monument, but Lily Rice's monument was found in the fence line about 50 feet to the south of me, to the right. And cemetery records don't indicate that she was even buried out here or where buried, but apparently, well, she's here. So I did contemplate possibly repairing that broken corner, and you can see that the edge is kind of chipped away. But as I contemplated my use of labor and time, I think we'll just leave it as is and focus our efforts on projects that are more urgent or demanding. But so we're going to be able to inset basically the majority of this tab. I've got about 5.5 inch deep slot there. Simple tools today. We got a bucket of sand that's so you can see I'm repurposing an old cat litter container. We've got some margin trowels that I'm going to use to tamp the sand in. I've got a post level to make sure that we're plumb all directions, and you got a jug of water there, so as we add sand in incremental layers, we'll add some water in that'll help tamp it. A little pad to kneel on, so let's proceed. So I'm using a 2-inch wide margin trowel, and it works great because most of these slots that I've been making have been less than 2 inches. So I can use it to clean the slot out, and in this one we're kind of creating a higher spot over on this end to basically fill up the void of where this broken corner is. So let's set the monument in the slot, and we'll start tamping in some sand. Okay, so we got a little bit of sand in there. We start tamping it down, and just to show you the trowels I'm using. The one on the left is a 8-inch by 2-inch wide, 8-inch long, and the one on the right is a 5-inch. So depending on how deep we need to tamp that, we might start off with that 8-inch. I did a monument the other day where we actually inset it beyond the depth of the concrete, so we were down about 8 inches, so that's why I needed a longer one. A post level works well on a monument that's got some square edges, so you can see we're pretty darn close to level that way, and you can see it about that way. So the other thing to keep in mind too, as before you really get all the sand in, is try to get it the gaps lined up as evenly as possible around the perimeter, and that'll make for a nice finished joint, whether using mortar or like I am, a product out of a tube. Just makes for a nice cleaner finish. This one also ended up kind of right where I wanted it. The widest point here where that fracture was is right about at the grade of the concrete, and all the inscriptions are well above the height of the slot. So let's we're gonna add a little water in there to help tamp that sand down, add a little more sand, keep tamping, and repeat the process. Well, things are going pretty smooth here. Just adding more sand and some water, and you can see that spout that I've got on my water jug. You can get them at Walmart. They're about $3 backed by the engine oil, and basically it's just makes a nice easy way to pour water along the perimeter of this. So we got it tamped down pretty good. It's actually pretty stable at this point. It's all level, and so just need to keep adding a little more sand till we're just below the surface of the concrete, and then we'll add a bead of sealant. Now we're getting ready to, so we've tamped sand in there. We've got it all level and plumb, and it's nice and firm. It's not going anyplace. So now we're going to, what I've been using out here is to put a bead of sealant, caulk, adhesive, call it what you will. I'm using liquid nails or fuse it by liquid nails. And after a lot of searching, digging around, it's appropriate for various stones. And the other big thing is it'll work in damp conditions, because you can see I've poured some water around here to tamp in the sand. And also its temperature range is down to minus 40 below Fahrenheit, which is needed up here in southern Minnesota. So I've got the sand all tamped in, and got rid of all the grass clippings, and now, so we've just brushed away and left just a little depression in the sand, and we'll fill that up with a bead of this construction adhesive. On the back side, we're going to do something new, and I've got a few of these. So we've got the footstone, and actually I found this in a different fence line. It wasn't near where Eliza's marker was. So after we get that bead of caulk on the bottom, I'm just going to set that right there and put a couple small dabs of adhesive to kind of keep it in place. And at least hopefully that'll keep that little footstone associated with the headstone. This weekend I did go ahead and cut off the broken end of it so it's nice and square, and so it'll lean tight against the concrete and also the back of the parent monument. So let's go ahead and get our caulking gun to work. Here's a look at the finished product. Please note that when I gain experience in how or where to use mortars, I can always come back and replace this construction adhesive with the proper mortar. So use what you deem appropriate in your application and based on your experience. But the key thing is continue to help out in your local cemeteries in conserving, preserving, and maintaining your cemeteries. Thanks for watching.